So welcome, thanks for coming along. So we are doing Prep Ahead for Christmas Part 2. We lost the other lady, she went.
Yeah.
So I know both of you have got Thermomixes who are on at the moment, so I'm not going to go through all the spiel about, you know, gift with purchase and all that sort of stuff. So we might just get going, and we are going straight to Irene. She is first.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I'm in another space in the kitchen today. I'm right under the range hood. So this morning for breakfast, I made pate, not quite. I was going to make it last night, but we had meetings and all sorts of things going on. So I decided to make it this morning, and Mum was still in bed. And as I was walking out the door, she says, "What's that smell?" Mum, my mother hates the smell of cooked onions. So she's had the doors open all day today, and we were having dinner before this demonstration tonight. And she said to me, she says, "You got to go and cook at your place." She says, "I don't like this onion smell." So I've moved the Thermomix and run to the range for tonight. So I'm going to pop everything in, and then I'll turn this on and I'll turn it off, and so that you can hear me talking. But you know, next week I might be outside in the backyard with the dogs. See how we go. So I am making, you can't see it on the screen because I have got my little fridge behind me, the Brandy chicken liver pate. Brandy chicken liver pate. This is an ounces recipe, so therefore it's in the US, it's a US collection. If you've got any troubles finding collections outside of Australia, Mandy can show that on Cookie Do a little bit later. I'm just going to go straight into it. So essentially, the first thing you need to do, if I go through the recipe, it actually asks you to, excuse me, go back one screen. It actually asks you to soak the livers in milk. So that's what I did. I soaked the livers in the milk. It does a couple of things. One, it actually helps to, I guess, clean them to some extent because it's bringing out some of the impurities, but it's also mellowing the flavour. So if you've got any bitterness in the livers, it's actually going to help get rid of that. So it says a couple of hours. It's quite okay to do that overnight as well. So don't stress too much about the 2 hours. You can certainly do that. All right, let's, oh, hang on, I jumped out. Back to my week. So brandy chicken liver, start cooking. Okay, so it asks weigh in the livers, then weigh in the milk, set it aside for a couple of hours. Overnight is fine. Then we're adding in shallots. So we're talking about these lovely, expensive, I think they were about $13 a kilo, you know, these style of shallots. If you don't want to use those, white onions are the closest in terms of flavour, so much cheaper. I'm going the full hog, so I might use the right ones, but in terms of closeness to flavour, the white onions do the same, so use white onions instead. Oh, and by the way, I bought a 500-gram packet of livers. I made half in the morning. I'm making the other half today, so I'm just going to follow basically half the recipe. You can halve it. I'll show you how much it makes. I've got it in the fridge, and it actually works fine, so you don't have to make a full batch. So onions in. I love this. Never get bored of the chopping of the onions. They still make you cry though. So all chopped up, ready to go. Oh, still make me cry, but at least I don't have to chop them. I only had to peel them. Okay. So to that, I'm now adding my bacon pieces and my butter. Again, I've pre-weighed everything just to speed things along. This is when I turn the range hood on. I'm going to cook these for 20 minutes. In fact, you don't have to do that. When you're reducing a recipe, so I've reduced this by half, you can drop your cooking time by about 20%. So I'm going to do that. So 20 minutes, I'm going to drop it by 4. So I'm going to cook that for 16 minutes. And you can do that on the main screen. I'm just going to go back to 14 minutes. So I'll that up. 14 minutes. Okay.
Wonderful, thanks Irene. Now we're off to Pearl's kitchen. Thanks, Pearl.
Yeah, hi. Hi, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making something and getting ready for my Christmas. So today I'm going to make a bacon and herb gravy. So I'm going to use it to put it on I'm not making a turkey, but I'm planning to make a leg of pork roast and maybe even stuffed chicken and use this gravy on that. So there you go. So that's the recipe here. So start cooking. So I have saved it here. So start cooking. I've not made it before, but it looked good. So I thought I'll try it out. So it's telling me red onions quartered. So I've got some red onions. They are here. And I've cut them into huge, big chunks, just quartered them. Some bacon. So I've got a little extra bacon. It says 80 grams. I've got 100 grams of bacon. And I've got some garlic cloves here. So I'll just put all that in. Oh, garlic cloves. I've put those. Some olive oil. 30 grams of olive oil. 33, that's fine. Parsley, got from my garden. 2 heaped teaspoons of parsley. Next, 1 teaspoon of oregano. Half teaspoon of pepper. Insert the measuring cup. Next, for 3 seconds on speed 5. So I'm just turning it. As Irene said earlier, no chopping of onions. See this, no tears. Next. And the beauty of this is that as I said, I haven't made this before. I'm just following instructions. I'm just doing next. That's all. So now for 15 minutes, I'm going to cook it on speed 1. So everything is set, temperature 100 degrees. So if you can come back to me, Mandy, after 15.
We will. Thank you. All right. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is Boone has made an amazing another Christmas tree bread, and she's going to show you how to put it together. So this is her end of the kitchen again. My end of the kitchen. Okay, it's all right, not this one. Just to talk a little bit about bread first. Bread requires a lot of patience, which I normally never have much of. But if you hurry your bread, you will never get the good result, a nice, softly, baked bread. So be patient. When it says leave it half an hour to an hour to proof, let it proof. If you make bread with water, your bread your outcome will be a lot firmer kind of bread. But if you do it with milk, your bread will be softer. So it really depends what kind of bread you want, and therefore you can use half water and half milk, whichever that you like. But with this Christmas tree recipe, basically you make the dough, and because of the shape of the Christmas tree we're going to form, you cut them into 32 balls. And it would be much better to have them in balls like this, and then when the gluten is relaxed, then you roll them into proper shape ball. Now, the recipe actually asks you the recipe gives you fillings, Parmesan cheese fillings and garlic. But to be honest, it takes too much time. And again, I have no patience. No patience. I've made it really good.
No patience, all right? So I would just shape it like that. But if you want to put in fillings, what you do is you just flatten a ball that you have prepared. Do it like a little boat shape, so to speak.
spoon in whatever you want to put. And you can really put in anything. Doesn't have to be just cheese. You could put Nutella. Yes, that's right. You can put Nutella. You can put anything really. Even if you got those kind of jam that is suitable, you can put jam in it too. And then what you want to do is to seal it up. So when you have fillings, you really want to seal it up really tight. Otherwise, it may leak. So once you seal it up tight like that, because it's so small, you can roll it in your hand. Otherwise, you can put on your bench top and you can just roll it around, cup your hands around it. So you see, you just cup your hands and you do it a few times and then it gets into a nice little ball like that. So I'll do it one more time for those who may want to see again. So all you do is pinch it so that the top, when you pull it down, the top becomes really smooth and nice. And then you just pinch it tight. Whether you got fillings or not, doesn't matter. You can always do this, make it tight, and then you just roll it in your hand, and then that's all you need. So I've got 32 balls to do. It will take a while, so I will pass it over to the others while I prepare the rest.
Right. Okay. I think it's me next anyway. So I am doing a turkey roll basically. I'll get but what I've done is I've obviously a bit of a bacon theme. I've changed I'll show you the recipe that it's from, and it gives you the instructions about rolling it all up. But I've actually chosen a different stuffing mixture. And this is one of the great things. I actually went through Cookie Dough, found a few stuffing mixtures, which I'll show you all on Cookie Dough in a minute. But first of all, we'll come and do this recipe. So, as I said, my internet's not great, so bear with us. All right, so that's actually what the shape the Boone is going to make with her Christmas tree, and it is really, really good. That's that. This is what mine's going to look like when I've done the whole stuffing thing. And hang on, this is my stuffing. So I've chosen a cranberry bacon stuffing. And I'm going to get back a little bit. My bits here. So I have 1 garlic clove, half a brown onion. Now, actually, just on that, if you can see on the screen there, it says approximately 70 grams, but there's no scales. It's not showing up. So what you can do is these 3 little dots here, you can press on there, bring up the scales to weigh it, cross that, and you're straight back in the recipe. 50 grams of bacon and 20 grams of butter. So they're just in there. So I'm popping those in together. Got myself so organized. Here we go. 3 seconds, speed 7. Okay, so it's really just chopped it all up. I'm going to scrape down the sides. And then that's going to cook for 2 minutes. Okay, whilst that's cooking, I hope you can still hear me. And Irene or Pearl, if you're ready, just give me a yell. So what I'm going to do now is I've made some of this earlier today, and this is the result. And I'll tell you, it's really delicious. So what I'm going to show you is how to roll up the turkey. Except I couldn't get turkey, so it's chicken, but it doesn't matter because it says you can chicken in the recipe too, all right? So what I've done is I put my chicken breast in, I wrapped it in, I'm a zero waster, but I did have to use some Glad wrap for this. So I wrapped it in there, and then I just used this meat mallet and I flattened it all out. You can also use a rolling pin just to bash it. I don't know if you've done that with chicken, but it makes it really tender. So I've just got it sitting here. It asks you to make a rectangle of foil. and then line it with a rectangle. This is parchment paper. And actually use this parchment paper for a cake. I'll wash it off. I won't reuse it after it's had meat on it, but if it's something like a cake and I can wash it off, then I reuse it. The parchment paper is because it's recyclable. It's compostable. So it asks you to do that. Then it asks you to just put your stuffing over this. Now, when you are doing your chicken breast, just make sure, because you know they're a bit of a funny shape, just make sure you try and bash it out into a bit more of a rectangle if you can. And then it asks you just to put the stuffing on here. Now, when I made this last year for a class, I did use the stuffing in the recipe, and it is, Irene luckily remembered, that it's really worthwhile having your stuffing in the fridge and making it firm, because it was going everywhere last year. So it was a really good tip to remember. Thank you, Irene. That's the sort of thing she remembers. And I've just been making the recipe again. But so this was in the fridge. This was actually firmer than the one I made last year. Okay, I'm just going to keep this stuffing going. And we'll come back and I'll show you the rolling. So now with the stuffing, I'm going to add 80 grams of dried cranberries. And just be aware, so when you get your cranberries or craisins, whatever you call them, my poor husband got a little bit of a lecture this morning because he hadn't read the ingredients on the pack. Now, it is really, really hard to find any cranberries or craisins that don't have sunflower oil on them. But these had sugar and something else. But I mean, I've got no choice because they're not, it's from a shop that I know won't take them back. I think it's got blueberry juice or something as well. So I had to go and point out very tactfully that I wasn't cross with him, but maybe he could read the label next time. Okay, so Boone's laughing here. Anyway, I have the dry cranberries, these ones, and I have some sage. So they're going in. Then I have 1 to 2 teaspoons of verjuice or white wine vinegar. I've got white wine vinegar. So I'm just doing a little guess on that. Lid on. Just going to chop for 3 seconds. It's all steaming hot in there. Just going to scrape down the sides. I tell you what, it smells so good. Yeah, Boone agrees. Okay. Lid back on again. And it's going to cook for another 2 minutes. That's why I'm doing the turkey at the same time. All right, so with the turkey, I've got my stuff in there. And what I'm just going to do is just literally roll it up. So I'm going to just roll it over. Oops, sorry. Roll it over. And just keep rolling. Okay, and then I'm going to roll it up in this as well. So you try and do it reasonably firmly, and then you just do this at the ends. But that's all you do. It's super simple, but it has a really good result. And I will steam this in a minute when the stuffing's finished. Okay, but yeah, so literally just, it's like doing a scroll. If you're doing that with your bread, you just put your filling in and you just roll it over like a sushi or anything. Right, Pearl or Irene, are you ready? 1 minute. Oh, wait, whilst you do it, whilst we're waiting for your 1 minute, we'll see how Boone's going over here. I'm getting the treat. Oh, we have to look this way so they can see better. This 4 balls of the stem, and then I'm forming the Christmas tree, the shape of the Christmas tree. So you can imagine my patience is being tested, rolling up 32 balls. She's doing a great job. All right, so we will come back to Irene. Thanks, Irene.
About 30 seconds, not long. Okay, you're going to lip read. I don't know if you can hear me. So I've got the livers ready to go. I've cut some rosemary from the garden. This is extra. So I love adding herbs. So I'm just adding the one that I made this morning. I put in some thyme, some savory thyme. Tonight I'm going to try a little bit of rosemary. So why not? Let's give it a go. Nearly done. 5 seconds. It's like a tornado in here with the noise. Okay. So my onions, my bacon, they're all done, ready to go. The next part is to add the livers. And as I said, I don't know if you've heard anything that I said before. I've added a little bit of herbs. So I'm just putting in a little bit of rosemary. That's a tiny little sprig I cut from Mum's garden. And I've literally put in maybe 2 little stems on it. So you don't want it to be overwhelming. So be mindful. You still want to taste it. So in with those. And we're going to cook those. Again, I'm dropping it by about 20%. So we're going to go roughly 15 minutes. So see you in 15.
Thanks, Irene. We'll come back to me for a minute. So I'm just going to show you the rest of the stuffing. So it's asking for blanched almonds, and I'm super lazy. When I go and buy almonds from the source, I always buy them with the skins on, and I'm not going to take the skins off. So I've got 50 grams of unblanched almonds, and I've also got 100-gram day-old bread. So I'm going to put that in. And oh, salt and pepper, better do that. Okay. And it's just about done. All I'm going to do, 10 seconds, speed 7. And that, my friends, is that is stuffing. Well, that's stuffing. So it's quite dark, and I'll show you why it's quite dark in a minute. But it does smell incredible. And it tastes really good too. So as I choose to eat gluten-free, I had to make some gluten-free bread for my gluten-free stuffing. So I made these rolls last night, and I'll show you the recipe. Yes. I'll show you the recipe when we go into cookie dough as well. So they're gluten-free rolls, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, they're just seeds, pretty much seeds and a bit of psyllium husk and a bit of coconut flour. I just meant no, not coconut flour, banana flour, but I didn't have banana flour, so I had to substitute. But anyway, lots of seeds and totally gluten-free. Yeah, I'll share the recipe in a minute, Fleur. They're actually really good. Okay, so now I'm going to go from that recipe to the original one. Oh, what's been doing this for me today? Going to go to, hang on. Oh, there we go. Turkey breast roulade. I don't know, it's having fun, and maybe it's my internet. I'm going to go recently cooked, see if it turns up. There we go. Okay, so because I've actually made all the stuffing in there, I don't need to do that. So I'm going to use this arrow down here. I'm going to scroll down. I've done the whole turkey bit. I've shown you that. So then all I've got to do left to do is steam it. I've weighed 700 grams of water into the into the bowl. Now, just a reminder on this, when you are steaming, If you're steaming for half an hour, you need to have a minimum of 500 grams of water in there. You always steam Varoma temperature, and it's usually speed 1. Okay, can be faster for some things. Then I've got to put the Varoma in position. Just going to sit up here. Oh, secure. Hang on, I've missed something here. Oh, I know why. Because in the recipe it tells you to put this in first. So in the recipe, if you can do 4 of these. I'm only doing 1, but you can. And what you do is you put 2 on the bottom in the base here. Okay, and then you put 2 on the Varoma tray, and then halfway through the cooking time you swap them. So that's that. So put my lid on. Secure the Varoma lid, and that's going to steam for 10 minutes. Okay. How are you going, Pearl?
Yeah, I'm just done. I can start with the next step. So I'll just show you. This is just cooked now. It's looking nice. So the next step. Now, if you want to make your gravy a little more liquid or thinner, you can add 30 grams of chicken stock or meat juices. Also, maybe reduce a little bit of flour. Now I've got 80 grams of plain flour, which I'm going to put through. I won't put all because I want it a little liquidy as well. And I will, now everything else is cooking. So I'll just go through the recipe details and I'll just go through the recipe for you. So we are here. It tells me avoid the blades and put some flour. That's what I've done. Then add stock, which I have got, chicken stock, and cook for 15 minutes, 100 degrees on speed 2. Then insert the butterfly, and I'll come back to the step 4. So I'll just cook now. I'm going to cook my flour first. Then I'll cook my stock, and I'll come back to you guys. Yeah, Mandy.
Yep, thank you. All right, coming back to us. We might show you Boo's. Where's the other one? Oh, the other one.
I was trying to move it in there.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't have to get
It's
out.
hard to see, but she's moving it there. Actually, you can see it.
In a warm oven.
Yeah, good idea.
Because otherwise, especially now that it's cold similar weather, it will take a long time to cook.
Looks fantastic, though, doesn't it? Yep, wonderful. All right, we'll come back to your finished one in a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a few things on Cookie Dough. Just share my screen. So those are the rolls that I made, you know, the ones I showed you. But what I wanted to do, you guys are all over Cookie Dough, so I'm just going to show you a couple of things I did, and that was created a couple of collections, Christmas stuffing. Now the first 2 are not stuffing, but with my English heritage, we have bread sauce, so I just had to put them in there as well. But here we go. We've got a chestnut and cranberry stuffing, a cranberry and bacon stuffing, which is the one that I'm making or made, a cauliflower stuffing. We should have a look at that one, I suppose. Thanksgiving stuffing, stuffing meatloaf, okay. Herb stuffing with butternut squash and Brussels sprouts, pork stuffing ball, holiday stuffing. I don't know what's in there. We'll check that one out. So this is an American one again, because we're in ounces, but as Irene said, your machine will automatically go to ounces. So onions, celery, carrots, a whole lot of veggies, that one really. And an egg and some stock. Okay. We've got apple and sage stuffing. That is actually the stuffing in the recipe for the roll that I made. Prune and orange stuffing, pancetta wrapped apricot stuffing. So if you wanted to just do something a little bit, you know, have your stuffing separately, you can absolutely do that way and wrap it. Gluten-free mushroom Christmas stuffing and apricot nut stuffing. So there's no excuses for not finding a stuffing that you're going to like. Okay. The other one I did was gravy. actually found a whole heap of gravy recipes. So we've got the gluten-free, it will just be what flour you use. So you just use a gluten-free one. I made this last year. It is, you use giblets and things in there. Honestly, I think I'd go for something that was just on the day. It seemed to be a bit of an effort for not a great flavour, I felt. So don't go for that one. That's the one that Pearl's making. So we'll get her her opinion. Rosemary and echalot gravy. Red onion gravy, that one sounds good. Simple turkey gravy, Thanksgiving gravy, traditional gravy, and caramelized onion jam gravy. So there are so many different recipes that, you know, things that you can make ahead, and you can freeze all these. So that's a really good thing in regards to, you know, as we said, prep ahead, being ready for Christmas. What else have I got down here? So I've got, we'll just have another quick look. Oh, Christmas entertaining. So I found a few things, and we are, you know, we've got 2 more weeks after this week for Thursday nights. We're going to do some veggies and salads next week. Irene's put her hand up for one. I'm hoping, well, I will have a blade cover peeler so that I can show you peeling potatoes as well for the recipe that I'm going to make next week. That's a bit exciting, but there are some really nice looking, I've got to do nibbles for a party on next Friday week. And so I was having a bit of a look. So there's a whole lot of stuff here. And look, even something like this is, I'm not going to take it for the nibbles, but it just looks so impressive. That's what Irene made last time. That's how it's broken it. Yeah, anyway, so there's a whole lot, there's so many things in here that are Christmas orientated. You just got to, if you actually, are you Brussels sprouts fans or not? You can come off mute and tell me, because I can't see any answers in the chat. Anyone like Brussels sprouts?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, we do.
Yeah, we like them too.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Fleur? Do you like Brussels sprouts? She might be dealing with a child.
Yeah, no, we do eat them in this house. Everyone has them.
Yeah,
the
cool.
kids amaze me.
Yeah, no, that's good. You know, I don't know if it's an Australian thing, but Andrew calls them Dolly's cabbages.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know. It must be his family. I'd never heard of it till I met him. Anyway, that's quite cute, I guess. Anyway, there's quite a lot of Brussels sprouts recipes there. That's Boone's bread. We looked at a whole lot of desserts and things last week. So there are a lot of different recipes in there. Actually, the other thing I will show you, I don't think we might have quickly looked touched on this last week. I go and collections. We've got these was something sitting there? Yeah, I think I showed you that last week. I think I did. Oh, I know what. No, it's not a Christmas collection. Yes, it is. We've got a new collection. Oh, here we go. Savoury Christmas. So this is one of the new collections that came on this week with a different cranberry sauce. So look at that one. I don't know if it's got orange in it, Irene. Oh, it has. So that's got orange. It's got port in it too. So we've got that one. This I thought looked really, really nice too. The spinach and smoked salmon roulade. It looks really impressive. What else have we got on there? The smoked salmon mousse. I think that looks really easy too. And there was another one that was a sweet Christmas one that were, here we go, this one. That was another new one that came in this week. So Christmas tiramisu, panettone, white chocolate and strawberry trifle. That looks pretty amazing. And stained glass Christmas biscuits. Lime panna cotta, strawberry meringue semi-freddo. Anyway, there's a few extra Christmassy looking things there to try. All right.
Andy, can I just ask, how do you look up these collections again? I'm just on my phone on the app and I'm trying to find.
Yeah. Okay. So what you just need to do is with your filter, sorry, not your filters, just here, you can either have recipes or collections.
So, okay, I've just got to try and find that on the app.
Okay, I think it's the right-hand side. Let me get my phone.
If you need to keep going, I can look later on the.
Oh, that's all right. Let me just have a quick look. It's only us, so we can do this. So what you need to do though, Pearl, sorry, Pearl, gosh, sorry. It's been a long day. I had to have a Barocca in the middle of the day today. I was so exhausted. All right, so what you do need to do though, let me get out of this. Okay, on your phone, you're going to have to get past the first screen. So scroll down until you see more. On the right-hand side, underneath the first lot of recipe suggestions. It says see more.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
click on see more, and that will take you through to the next page. Oh, it's so hard to show on here.
That's what I needed. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, and then you can see above the filters, there's a drop-down menu where you can select either recipes or collections.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Can I please show tiger rolls? Sure. You can find them.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, well, we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Hang on.
Thank God. Oh my God, it's like sitting under a jet engine, this range hood. Okay, so one of the things I noticed, I want to talk a little bit about what you're looking for in terms of when you're cooking it. Right towards the end, so you'll see it steaming right through the cooking of the onion. So you'll see it evaporating a little liquid, and it's going to evaporate a fair bit of liquid as it's cooking the livers. Right towards the end, in the last minute, it actually stopped steaming. So I know that there's no more. It's still going to be watery, but it's not going to have as much. So you'll see that bucket of steam that just came out, but there was very little coming out in terms of natural steam being pushed up through that cooking process. So you can see it's actually quite dry now, which is great. Now, this isn't the most appetizing looking dish, I have to say, but it will taste really, really good. Okay, so at this point, we add the remaining ingredients. So let's go. We're adding in the salt and the pepper. Brandy. I think do use, we've used Remy, we've used that my whole life and whenever we're making our Greek cakes. So I think use something that's going to taste nice. It'll obviously reflect in the flavour of the dish. And I actually increase how much I'm putting in there. I actually want a little bit of that alcohol flavour, or I should say a lot of that alcohol flavour. And cream. Now, if you joined us last week, would have been bragging about the gala event, which was a lot of fun. Chris Carrington made pate for us. He pretty much threw everything in the bowl, and once he actually did it on a thickened mode, so he's obviously using a lot more livers than what I'm using tonight. So whenever you make custard, you kind of hear that slapping sound as it starts to thicken and hit the sides of the bowls. That's exactly what he did with it. So he wants to cook out as much of that liquid, which is exactly what we've achieved tonight. And then he added in a mountain. I kid you not, there was a bowl and there was butter mounted up to, yay high to go through and process it. So 2 different consistencies. I'll show you the photo of his in a second. I'm just going to blend this for a minute. Let me do that. I'll continue to do that. I'll do it. I'm going to do my own, and I'll explain why. So what you get is essentially something that looks really horrific, but that's the consistency of what ends up in here. So it's really quite thick. And because I've halved the quantity, so I'm going to scrape down quite a few times to get it to the consistency that I want. And with this particular batch, I am going to add a lot more butter because I want to have a really smooth consistency. So let me show you the one that I made earlier today. Let's smooth out. Okay, so I wanted to show the tiger rolls because I made some tiger roll baguettes. Mum and I.
Do you want me to just show a picture?
Yeah, you can, but it basically looks like that. So you've seen them at the supermarket, yeah? You get that tiger print. But anyway, there's a recipe. It's called tiger rolls on cookie dough. But Mum and I ate most of it. So I've used that. I've just toasted some little toasties, but essentially the bit we want to look at is the pate. So if I slice into this.
We're a bit jealous over here.
Yeah, it's really lovely, but you can see it's quite a thick consistency. But it spreads beautifully. So it looks great. Okay. At that consistency though, it's probably a little bit too thick for me to pipe. So I'll show you a photo of what Chris did with his. So hence the mountain of butter, which is, you know.
So the butter's going to make it softer.
He's going to make it much, much softer. So then he used a piping bag. So hopefully you guys can see that.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you see that? Is that clear? Yeah. So he's used a piping bag. He's then he's obviously got some chives on there. He's grated some orange and then popped them on the little toasties that he served around. But it was very smooth, almost like having, I don't know how to explain it. It was like cream, essentially. It was like having whipped cream. It was like a whipped cream consistency. I quite like this consistency. This reminds me of a traditional pate. So it's a little bit more texture to it. But if you want to achieve that, or you want to do that, you want to pipe them, and they look really, really lovely for a, I guess, a hors d'oeuvre. I would probably then pop this back into the Thermomix and just whip it, soften it with a bit of cream, and then potentially add more butter, which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to add the butter first because I want to whip that consistency, and then I'll pop it in the fridge. And if I can get a piping consistency, I would then use that for some hors d'oeuvres. So that's what I'm thinking I'll do with the second batch. So, okay, shall we taste it? So,
Hey, just
about the verdict, isn't it? Okay.
Just a question too. You said about whipping it, and this is a non-foodie question. I mean, this is a question from a non-foodie. Could you use the butterfly?
Yeah, I can't see why not. Yeah, so if you want to aerate it, I think I would probably. This is quite firm though. The way I'm feeling this,
yes.
It's actually cutting. Like it's spreading really easily on the toast. Sorry. I said I was going to taste it because I've obviously modified it slightly by adding in this one in particular. I've added thyme in this batch. It's delicious, really good.
Good.
So, it's really good. Do it. It's really good. I wouldn't change it. And then now I'm thinking I'm probably not going to bother doing the whipped consistency. I just found it too moussey. Like it looks nice because you can pipe it. So if that's what you want to do, you have to add a mountain more butter in it. And then essentially whip it and put it into a piping bag to get it onto your bread. Now, in terms of keeping this, what I would do is it can be frozen 3 months, up to 3 months in the freezer. Freezer burn is going to basically destroy it. So it needs to be airtight. The best way to achieve that is to put some clarified butter. So we've got a gorgeous recipe for ghee on the cookie dough, make it. It tastes like, oh my God, it's like caramel fudge. It's just delicious. And basically you just pour a little bit of a layer over the top. So just warm it through, not too hot. And then once this is at this consistency where it's sliceable, pour that on top. That's going to create a barrier. That whole thing can go in the fridge. Now this is massive, guys. This is quite a large serving. So that was essentially 250 grams of so half the recipe, so 250 grams of the livers. So you need to I would probably be breaking that down into 2, even 3 style containers. Now I went exploring. I'm thinking the small mason jars are probably going to do the trick. Yeah, just to try and have a smaller a part that you can then pull out. So every time you know you're going to entertain over that summer period of 3 months, pull one out, give it a good 24 hours to defrost in the fridge, and then it's ready to serve for your party. Yeah, give it a go. Absolutely delicious. I'm really happy with this recipe.
That's great. Well, that's really good. Yeah, well done, Belinda. That's right. Claps for Irene.
Well, I'm going to try. I mean, I'm going to taste. I mean, it's probably not very nice to eat it now, but I reckon the rosemary was nice. From an inspiration perspective, I think what I would do now that this is cold, probably not now that I've got all the chives on it, perhaps this one. Once this is cooled down, I'm going to put in some chopped nuts. Like, think about the terrines that you can buy. They've got pistachios in them. They might have other types of nuts, some fruit in them. You can make it your own, put whatever flavors you like. If you walk through some of your really good, we've got Gumtree, and it's not Gumtree, the one that we sell things on. There's a place called Gumtree that does, it's a grocery shop down in Turek Road. Walked in there today. They probably had 10, maybe 15 different types of terrines and pates. This is so inexpensive. Now, I've obviously used, as Mandy will tell you, I was struggling trying to find livers yesterday. I ended up at Woolworths. It was $3 for half a kilo. So that's cost me, $1.50 plus, we're talking less than a tablespoon of brandy. So it's really inexpensive to make. I think they sell for about $4 to $5 for 100 grams to about 150 grams. I think Maggie Beer's ones, she uses duck in hers. So they're about $9. So, it's really, really inexpensive to make. And thumbs up, yeah, it tastes really, really good. So definitely give that recipe a go. And don't forget about using the clarified butter, or you could even use like a gelatin. On the Mix Shop, for those that haven't been on there, we've got our Black Friday sales, although they're calling it something else. Started today, finishing next Thursday. Is it Wednesday or Thursday?
Oh, I think it's Tuesday, but
okay, doesn't matter. Jump on board. So there's things like the silicone trays for the snack bars. Maybe we should show them that. That would be a really perfect size, and then you can split the mixture into those sort of bar sizes that you could then freeze. So yeah, get onto the Mix Shop, 20% off. Well, while stocks last.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thanks, Irene, and enjoy your pate.
Oh, I might bring some around, Mandy.
Okay. Actually, I can't wait for us all to do a cooking class together so we can sit down and eat it all afterwards.
Yes.
It'll be good fun. All right. So, Pearl, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Coming to you.
Just in time. Yeah. Mine gravy has cooked, and this is what I want it to be. I don't want it to be very thick because it's going to be I'm keeping it for Christmas. I'm going to freeze it and keep it inside. I bought these I'm a Mix Shop addict. I go on to Mix Shop all the time and keep looking for things, and this is what I have bought. So it saves space in my freezer. So these are pouches. So I'm going to seal them and put it there. So 30 grams of unsalted butter. I'm just going to blend this now. Insert measuring cup. 1 minute on speed 9. Just 20 seconds more. good. And it has thickened as well. And I will do the taste test because I haven't made this before.
We're all doing taste tests now.
Oh, it's nice. It's really nice. It doesn't have, I put a little extra bacon, but it doesn't give me that bacon taste. It's really nice.
Fantastic. Thank you, Pearl. That's amazing.
Cool, and then I'll use it.
Yeah.
This is my.
Yeah, gravy boat. Very nice. Looks
Very,
great.
very sweet.
Hey, and the other thing I'm thinking of at Christmas time is I'll grab one out in a minute, is the little thermal jugs from the mix shop too. So if you're looking on there, I'll pull one out and just show you. Anyway, thanks, Pearl.
Sorry, guys, can I offer a tip? Just back on Boons, because when this with the range hood on, I'm going to go back and watch the entire session because I've missed most of I couldn't hear most of what you guys were saying. So when Boone was rolling her balls, I assume she was talking about stuffings that you can put inside. Did you put anything in them, Boone?
Sorry?
Did you put anything in your little balls?
No, I didn't in the interest of time because it's time. Yes.
So to make it easier, because obviously if you're trying to put something, whether it's Nutella, jam, even cheese, and things, whatever you're trying to put inside, it's probably good to try and freeze it. So I often do brioche balls where I've got caramel in the center. So what I do is I make the caramel and I freeze it. And then when it's
hey,
how
come you haven't made me one of those?
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll add those into the next session. But essentially, I freeze them and then basically use like a little melon ball or even a spoon just to cut enough. You don't want to do them too big or too small. And while they're still frozen, you can roll them into little balls and go in and freeze them and wait till they're really, really rock hard. So that's something you could do days and days ahead and literally pop it right in the middle of your bread. It makes it so much easier to then roll your dough around it. And as it's frozen and you're cooking it from frozen, it actually doesn't, sometimes they'll ooze out a little bit. That's not the end of the world, but it's actually a really good way to try and fill them without getting all your mixture all over the place. So give that a go.
Yep, that's right. Great tip. Thanks, Irene. All right, well, coming back to us, just quickly to show you what we made. Oh, actually, before we finish, so I actually steamed that chicken. I turned it around. So in the recipe, if you've got a couple on the tray and a couple down the bottom, that's when you would swap them around. So we did 10 minutes of cooking, of steaming, and then swap them around and another, it said 8 minutes, it says 8 to 10 minutes, and then you can check it. And then it has to rest for 5 minutes. Now, if you're going to have, well, it doesn't matter whether you're having it hot or cold, you can actually just pan fry it to brown it a little bit if you want to. I haven't done that, but what I did do, I made one earlier today, which I will show you, which I've just sliced this up. So that's what it looks like. And the one I made this afternoon, just now, will be actually all the way around because I've obviously bashed it better than I did this one. But it still looks really great. It's great for, you know, even if you're doing it for a cold platter or something like that. Or and obviously you can make it in advance. You can freeze it, and that's what I'll be doing with the other one. It's all ready for you if you've got people coming round, or if you want to do something like this, depending on numbers. Like, I mean, that's going to feed. If I hadn't eaten the ends, it would definitely feed 2, if not 3 people. Okay, and that was 1, and this is meant to make 4. So you can get your Christmas lunch out of there, your turkey definitely out of that recipe.
Mandy, this is the one that you did at our Christmas party last year.
It is, but I've used a different filling.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's that, and then we'll just have a look at this masterpiece here.
Now I've just glazed it with Mandy's ghee. You could put a bit of rosemary and garlic and butter, and then heat it all up, and then just brush it all over. If you prefer it to be sweet, you can do it with maple syrup. So literally anything you feel like, you know, your taste, your preference, and you can
or even brush it with the same stuff that goes on these tiger rolls.
Yes.
Yeah, would look really lovely. You get a really nice different style finish. So
So do you want to just tell them what does go on the tiger rolls?
No, just bring up the recipe. It's probably easier
Oh,
just to
okay.
see. Just point them to the recipe. It's really simple. I love watching Boone do her rolls. How perfect are all her little circles, all perfectly weighed. So essentially the glaze, yep, you just scroll down.
Hang on, yeah, sorry, I've just got to
I know
manage that.
So essentially it's just it's got a milk in it, so they'll be softer. The tiger rolls are meant to be softer anyway, but your topping is literally flour, yeast, sugar, salt. You don't have to use the sesame oil. I didn't have any, so I just used normal oil and water, and it just creates like a paste that essentially you brush on, and as it dries and as it cooks, it just cracks. It gives you that result. And if you're really creative, you can probably add a little bit of color. And I mean natural food colors, so like reds and pinks. So you could probably actually get even creative. All these things that we can, test and try before Christmas.
Sorry, I've just been asked which recipe book it's in, so I'm just going down to the bottom.
It's
Better
the
bread.
Australian one, yeah, better bread.
Better bread. There you go.
I actually did this. If you go back through the Facebook stuff on us on Thermomix Australia, they actually did the tiger rolls in one of their classes. But
Okay.
yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. So we are done. Any of you are just I'll stop. I know I won't stop recording because we might have some interesting questions anyway. Anybody got any questions that we can answer? No? What are you inspired to make?
I'm going to do the bacon and herb gravy and the pate, and I'm definitely going to do the chicken roll.
Yeah.
Because we don't eat a lot of turkey. And I've already, I was just typing in the chat, excellent class. I'm replanning my Christmas cooking now.
Oh, that's fantastic, Belinda.
Can I make another recommendation? I actually think orange.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I think I'm talking over. Orange in this, I think would be fantastic as well. So get some orange peel, use that in as a flavoring for the pate.
Oh.
What I would suggest is when you next time at the supermarket, have a look at all of the different flavors. There's orange and sage and rosemary and thyme and all these combinations that you can try. So use those as your inspiration. Flavoring, that's really, really easy. And do yourself a favor and go and buy. I obviously bought these from Woolies because I didn't have much choice, but I do prefer to buy organic. Particularly with things like offal. You want to know that they've eaten stuff that's healthy, so that you're, having something that's obviously better quality and better for you. So give it a go. I'm so glad you're going to give it a go.
Yes.
So excited.
Oh, that's good. I'm really excited too, Belinda. That's fantastic. Fleur, what about you? Inspiration to try anything?
I want to try that Christmas tree, but I'd need it to be gluten-free. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I know that's a bit tricky.
Fine, you just do your gluten-free.
Oh yeah, you just have to do, but you could just try. Oh, I don't know whether bread flour.
No, see the problem though is it's sticky. The dough is generally much
it is much
wetter
stickier
because it absorbs that water through the cooking process.
Yeah. Buckwheat as a more majority of the flour, because buckwheat will form the dough very nicely.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have to have a look at gluten-free breads, Fleur, and have a bit of a look and see.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, as you were going through the collections, that's why I wanted to have a look, because I wanted to save some of the ones I saw on your screen. But I also want to give those bread rolls a go because they looked really good.
They are really good. And my friend over the road, Kelly, who often comes to these, we always swap foods, and her 12-year-old said, "Oh, can I have more of those, please?" So which I thought was really good, because my kids would probably go, "Ooh, it's not white," or they would have done at that age, but no, he loved them. So I think they're really tasty.
And the chicken, I wouldn't mind trying that as well. We don't eat a lot of meat here, but so the kids will love it. So yeah, I'll try that too.
Wonderful. So what I would love you ladies to do is when you make them, will you post some pictures, please, in the group?
Yes, definitely.
That would be fantastic. Wonderful. Angela, I will send you a link to the recording, so you can have that. Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you all so much. Thank you to the team who I forgot to thank